What did you think of Oprah Winfrey's interview with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex?
It was heartbreaking, actually. You got a family where there's a big rift, and some of the things that Meghan and Harry said were quite distressing. But at the end of the day, I think it's possible to somebody who's a fan of Her Majesty the Queen, somebody who thinks highly of Charles and William, and to also think highly of Harry and Meghan, and be heartbroken that there is a family that's clearly having real strains and struggles, as many families do.
He's clearly very bruised by the withdrawal of security. I just wondered whether or not the Met is still responsible for intelligence, as in analysing threats to him and his family.
I'm not aware about that.
Okay.
He's not in this country. But I'll make this point from personal experience, which is one of the reasons why I accepted police protection. I declined it for some time, was because of concerns put to me about the safety of my family when I'm with them, and my staff when I'm with them. And so I completely empathise with Harry's concerns about the safety of his wife and, at the moment, one child and children. It's really difficult when you're told by experts, because of either the job you're doing, or because of your ethnicity or religion, or because of the fact you're Prince Harry, you yourself and your family are at risk. And you can understand why you want to keep your family safe. And so when he was explaining during Oprah about the real-time decisions he was having to take because of the withdrawal of protection in Canada, it was heartbreaking to watch, because, I have complete empathy with that.
Have you ever had conversations about the potential skin colour of babies with one or two ethnic minority parents?
Never, no. And I've got members of my family who are mixed race, so it's... beggars belief. I remember you and I may have had a conversation when somebody did a tweet about a photograph about what Prince Harry's child looked like last year. I don't want to go into that for obvious reasons, but and both of you and I were appalled by that and stuff. But it is something that I'm sure the royal family are looking into and stuff. And it is. I made this point, by the way. I remember I've been to Grenfell many, many times, James, but I particularly remember going to Grenfell community in the days after Meghan had been there. And I got to tell you, she touched people's lives in ways nobody had. And I've also met, and I myself am a good example of somebody who talks about mental ill health, because Harry and William and others gave me the confidence to do so. So I think we're going to be a bit careful about assuming that because you think Her Majesty is wonderful and Charles and William is wonderful, you can't also think Harry and Meghan are wonderful. And it's not, this black and white stuff is not good in relation to, you either like somebody and hate the other person. It is really sad what's happened.
London Mayor Sadiq Khan stepped into the high-profile royal controversy surrounding Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's explosive revelations, offering a nuanced perspective that balances diplomatic tact with genuine empathy. Speaking to reporters outside City Hall, Khan acknowledged the sensitive nature of the Sussex family's public statements, while emphasizing the importance of addressing underlying issues of institutional racism and mental health support. His intervention comes at a critical moment, when the royal family continues to grapple with the fallout from the couple's candid interviews and public disclosures, reflecting the broader societal conversations about privilege, representation, and systemic challenges within traditional British institutions. Royal Revelations, a mayor's compassionate stand. In a heartfelt statement following Meghan and Harry's explosive interview, London Mayor Sadiq Khan demonstrated remarkable empathy and political sensitivity. Khan publicly expressed deep sympathy for the couple, acknowledging the profound emotional weight of their revelations about racism and mental health challenges within the royal institution. His response went beyond mere diplomatic platitudes, emphasizing the critical importance of understanding and supporting individuals facing systemic prejudice and personal struggles. By speaking out, Khan not only validated the experiences shared by the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, but also highlighted the broader societal need for genuine compassion, open dialogue, and meaningful cultural transformation in confronting deeply entrenched issues of racism and institutional bias. The royal race row systemic prejudice unveiled. In the explosive Oprah Winfrey interview, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry exposed a deeply troubling reality within the British royal family, revealing allegations of racist comments that specifically targeted their son Archie's potential skin color. These revelations sent shockwaves through the monarchy, laying bare the institutional racism that has long been whispered about, but rarely confronted so directly. The unnamed royal who expressed concerns about how dark Archie might be represented more than just individual prejudice. It exposed a systemic problem rooted in centuries of colonial thinking and racial hierarchy within an institution that purports to represent modern Britain. Such comments not only wounded the Duke and Duchess of Sussex personally, but also highlighted the urgent need for the royal family to undertake a transparent, meaningful examination of its racist undercurrents, acknowledging its historical complicity in perpetuating racial discrimination and taking concrete steps toward genuine inclusivity and understanding. The royal crisis, mental health, and the monarchy's silence. In her most vulnerable moment, Meghan Markle courageously revealed the profound mental health challenges she faced within the royal family, exposing a deeply troubling narrative of institutional neglect and emotional isolation. Her admission of experiencing suicidal thoughts during her time as a working royal not only shed light on the immense psychological pressure of public life, but also highlighted the critical importance of addressing mental health concerns, especially for those in high-profile positions. The palace's apparent dismissal and lack of compassionate support for Meghan's mental well-being became a stark indictment of an archaic institutional culture that prioritizes reputation over human suffering, drawing widespread criticism for its callous approach to an individual's emotional crisis. By speaking out, Meghan transformed a personal struggle into a powerful public discourse about mental health awareness, challenging long-standing traditions of silence and stigma within one of the world's most prominent royal institutions. The Royal Media Storm, a critical examination of press ethics. In the wake of Meghan and Harry's groundbreaking revelations, the role of media in perpetuating harmful narratives has been thrust into stark relief, exposing a deeply troubling landscape of intrusive and biased reporting. Their personal accounts have laid bare the systematic toxicity within British media circles, where sensationalism and racial undertones have consistently overshadowed journalistic integrity. The couple's experiences illuminate a critical systemic issue: how media institutions can weaponize narrative to marginalize and damage individuals, particularly those from diverse backgrounds. By courageously speaking out, Meghan and Harry have not merely shared a personal story, but have initiated a profound conversation about media accountability, challenging long-standing practices of discriminatory reporting and demanding a fundamental reimagining of ethical journalism that respects human dignity and promotes fair representation. The royal rift: Meghan and Harry's impact on the British monarchy. The seismic tremors of Meghan and Harry's departure from royal duties have sent shockwaves through the British monarchical institution, challenging its centuries-old traditions and forcing a critical examination of its future relevance. As the royal family grapples with this unprecedented rupture, deep-seated conversations about succession, modernization, and institutional adaptability have moved from whispered palace corridors to the forefront of national discourse. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex's unprecedented step back has not only exposed internal familial tensions, but also sparked a broader societal debate about the monarchy's role in a rapidly changing multicultural Britain. With Prince Charles and Prince William now bearing the weight of maintaining the institution's stability, the line of succession faces unprecedented scrutiny, as younger generations question the monarchy's continued significance in an era of increasing social transparency and democratic values. This moment represents more than a personal family drama. It is a pivotal inflection point that will likely reshape the monarchy's perception, structure, and survival strategy for decades to come. Royal drama, a shocking parallel of pain and prejudice. The haunting echoes of Princess Diana's tumultuous relationship with the British royal family resonate powerfully through Meghan Markle's revelatory experiences, presenting a striking generational narrative of institutional indifference and emotional trauma. Just as Diana was systematically isolated and scrutinized by the royal machinery, Meghan found herself trapped in a similar crucible of unrelenting media persecution and internal family dynamics that seemed more concerned with preservation of image than protection of individual well-being. The stark parallels extend beyond mere coincidence, revealing a deeply entrenched pattern of how the monarchy historically marginalizes and undermines women who challenge its traditional boundaries, particularly those of mixed racial heritage. Where Diana faced unprecedented media intrusion and psychological strain, Meghan confronted an additional layer of complexity through racial discrimination, making her struggle not just a personal narrative, but a broader commentary on institutional racism and archaic power structures that continue to permeate the British establishment. Royal Revelations, a global response to Meghan and Harry's candid exposé. The international community swiftly mobilized in response to Meghan and Harry's explosive revelations, with global leaders and public figures offering nuanced perspectives that transcended traditional diplomatic restraint. London Mayor Sadiq Khan emerged as a particularly prominent voice, calling for compassion and systemic introspection, emphasizing that the couple's experiences highlighted broader issues of institutional racism and mental health stigma. His statements resonated across continents, sparking widespread discussions about the universal challenges of representation and emotional well-being within hierarchical structures. International media outlets and political commentators alike seized upon the moment, transforming what might have been a royal family controversy into a global dialogue about privilege, accountability, and the human cost of institutional silence. From diplomatic corridors in Europe to public forums in North America, the narrative evolved from a personal story to a powerful call for solidarity, with many leaders expressing support for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's courage in sharing their deeply personal and challenging experiences. The ripple effect, race, power, and royal revelations. The revelations surrounding Meghan and Harry have ignited a profound national dialogue about systemic inequity, forcing uncomfortable conversations about race, privilege, and institutional power dynamics that extend far beyond the royal family's gilded walls. By courageously speaking out, they have exposed deep-rooted structural biases that permeate not just monarchy, but broader societal institutions, challenging long-standing narratives of supposed meritocracy and equal opportunity. These discussions demand more than mere acknowledgement. They necessitate meaningful, substantive transformation, a comprehensive reimagining of systems that have historically marginalized and silenced voices of color. The implications are stark. True inclusivity requires dismantling entrenched power structures, confronting unconscious biases, and creating genuine pathways for representation that move beyond tokenistic gestures. As public figures like Sadiq Khan engage with these critical conversations, they signal a growing recognition that personal experiences of discrimination are not isolated incidents, but symptomatic of wider systemic challenges that require collective, sustained commitment to meaningful change. The Sussex Saga, a royal departure and ongoing transformation. The future of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle remains a compelling narrative of reinvention and strategic repositioning, marked by a delicate dance between personal autonomy and their complex royal heritage. While their relationship with the British royal family continues to be fraught with tension, the couple appears resolutely committed to charting their own path through high-profile advocacy and media ventures that challenge traditional monarchical boundaries. Their ongoing initiatives, from their Arkewell Foundation to strategic media partnerships, suggest a deliberate strategy of maintaining global visibility while gradually redefining their public roles beyond the constraints of royal protocol. Despite the ongoing speculation and occasional public friction with the Windsor institution, Harry and Meghan seem focused on creating a platform that amplifies their social justice and humanitarian concerns, leveraging their international profile to drive meaningful conversations about systemic inequalities and personal empowerment. The royal family at a crossroads navigating tradition and transformation. The future of the British monarchy stands at a critical juncture, with increasingly vocal debates challenging its traditional foundations and demanding meaningful modernization. While the institution has weathered centuries of social change, the current era presents unprecedented challenges that require careful introspection and strategic adaptation. Discussions around potential reforms have intensified, questioning how the royal family can remain relevant and responsive to contemporary social values, while preserving its historical significance. The monarchy's ability to evolve will ultimately determine its long-term viability, with younger generations particularly scrutinizing its purpose, representation, and accountability. As public expectations shift and global perspectives transform, the royal family must demonstrate a genuine commitment to transparency, inclusivity, and meaningful societal contribution. Balancing the delicate tightrope between preserving royal traditions and embracing progressive cultural dynamics.